do I feel good today? It is Tuesday, November 28th. This is your sports betting brand of record. We like to call it the Early Edge. We are powered, as always, by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all sports betting. And it is not close. All of the odds right here on the Early Edge provided by our incredible partners. The king of all sports books, BetMGM, coming off a really solid night at the brand, 8-4-1, including a showdown victory by Sia over yours truly, and buckets not only hitting the no-fly zone again, but he could have done it 4 different times. Joshua Dobbs, show up one time. Bears ugly 12-10 win last night. But today is today, and we've got basketball. We've got our NFL mega preview later today at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Me, the stoic one, RJ White. And guess who's going to step in? The maestro is on assignment. So we've got the Zaw of the playbook, Emery Hunt, joining the show today at 4 p.m. Eastern time. But this is about the here and the now, and I bring my absolute very best on a Tuesday morning. This is when our week starts. So look who I have at my disposal. Zack Attack, live from Las Vegas, is here. Mikey B, fresh off of feeling better, is here. Buckets, no fly zone cash again. That's why you see that big old fat smile up there in the middle. And then the counselor of cash, Sia Nejad, as always, is here. Now, who gets our 15 seconds today? I could be petty and take it away from Sia since I lost a showdown, but I'm not petty. But I really feel like today, and I think Sia would agree with me, that when you hit the no-fly zone again, and you could have done it 4 times over, I think that deserves the 15 seconds just to see what comes out of his mouth. Buckets, you're up.
Coach, as much as I'd love to use these 15 seconds to once again speak in perfect fluent French, I'm going to bear us all not having to deal with that. It was a fun match. I actually watched the game last night. Second throw, we got the INT. So got to love that.
First of all, it's a game. It's not a match.
It's
a game. Yeah, and when you're in a texting thread that includes buckets and the second throw of the game catches the ticket, it can be relentless. It can be absolutely relentless. But I'm here for it. All right, so today we're going to do a little something different. If you like it, I want you to write into the chat, like it. That's all I need. By the way, you're getting very, very lazy, and I tell you that every day. We're going to start taking things away. Hit the like button for me. It's not that difficult. When you come in, it's right there. Hit that thumbs up. It helps us so much. But we're going to start a little more conversation on the show because we want you to be involved. So, gentlemen, this is what we're going to do today. This is what the NFL playoff picture looks like at this moment. Let's start with the AFC. These would be the matchups. So I thought we'd play a little fantasy today. What would be the odds if these games happen today? And we want you to play in the chat as well. So, counselor, since I took the 15 seconds away from you, I'm going to let you go first. When you look at these matchups, and they're going to be changing every single week, what do you see?
So I knew we were doing this today, and I thought it was going to be really fun. So I didn't want to actually look at it until the moment it comes onto the screen. Because I didn't know what the matchups were necessarily this early in or this late in the regular season. And by the way, I think the chat, if you guys want to participate on one of these too, I think this is such a super fun exercise. I'll start with your Kansas City Chiefs, Coach. Okay. I think we're looking at probably 7.5 at home against the Indianapolis Colts. Again, this is the Gardner Minshew-led Indianapolis Colts. I'll go 7.5 there. Jacksonville at home against Cleveland. Let's hope Myles Garrett is healthy throughout the season. He got a little dinged up last week. We don't know who the quarterback's going to be, so I got to give the Jaguars the edge here, probably -4 at home. And then the Dolphins hosting the Steelers. Listen, the Steelers offense, it's going to look a lot better without Matt Canada. We saw that last week, but this is still the Miami Dolphins. I think we're looking at, I don't know, Miami -9, I think would probably be where I'd go there. It's a big spread, but I think it's deserved.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. By the way, did anybody see the video of Mike McDaniels standing by the heater because he was cold and the fans were grinding on him? That dude's a legend. He's an absolute and winning. He said, and I'm winning. Oh, that was so great. All right, Mikey B, I'm coming to you, big boy. It's so good to see you back off the mat and feeling better. What would your fantasy lines be today?
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate it. So for the Chiefs and the Colts game, I'm going to say Chiefs -8.5 at home. They're obviously the big advantage. For the Browns and Jaguars game, I actually think it's going to be close because the Browns defense has been playing so well. So I'd say the Jaguars at -1.5. Then for the Steelers Dolphins, the Steelers just find ways to make games ugly. The Dolphins are definitely the better team, but because of how the Steelers can muck up a game. I would take the Dolphins at -5.5.
Wow. So you say 5.5. Counselor said 9, and maybe there's a sweet spot in there around 7 or 8. All right. Put a pin in that. We'll come back to you two for the NFC. So, Zack Attack, coming to you, big boy. What do you see when you see these three matchups right now?
Well, I'm just going to go with historically with the Kansas City Chiefs being a perennial Super Bowl team. There's going to be that ATS factor, that tax you're going to have to pay. So I'm going to go -9.5 against the Colts, definitely being a potential seventh seed. That's going to be a big spread for the Chiefs, -9.5. Jaguars, I'm going to lighten it up a little bit. We know being in that AFC division that they're in, they're going to win games, but those teams typically don't do well in the playoffs. And the Browns have that good defense. So I'm going to say Jaguars -5.5. And then the Dolphins Steelers, I'm going to lower the spread here. I'm going to go -5 on Miami Dolphins. We know this is a rematch from last year in primetime NBC. It was a tighter game than expected. Tua didn't have a great game, a 16-10 game. So I think that Steelers team, just like Barner said, they have a way of keeping things interesting, and they're going to play better as the offense goes down the season.
So interesting. All you guys kind of agreed on the Chiefs game. You kind of agreed. No, you didn't agree at all in the Jacksonville game. 4, 1.5, 5.5, and then 9 and 5.5 on the last game. Rebecca says Chiefs 8.5, Jags 2.5, Dolphins 7.5. So a lot of different ideas out there. Put yours into the chat. We'll try to get to as many as we possibly can. Just throw them up there, AB. Appreciate you. On the AFC side of things. So that was interesting. Buckets, I'm not going to ask you about anything about the AFC.
Thank you.
Because right now I'm looking, there's games in the AFC group today in soccer. That's where you would go. Am I right?
Yo, absolutely.
The AFC, right? Yeah, next level. So let's switch over. Thank you, all of you, for participating. Now we're going to go to the NFC. I love doing these type of things. I absolutely love this. So last night, Minnesota looked like anything but a playoff team. That was embarrassing. 4 interceptions, by the way. Head coach for Minnesota would not commit to Dobbs being the starting quarterback moving forward after their bye week. Something to keep in mind. So, Counselor, when you look at these three matchups, the Eagles are the 1 seed. By the way, the Ravens would be the 1 seed in the AFC. Where are you headed?
Yeah, I'll go with the Niners pretty big here. I mean, I think we're looking at something in double digits. I would probably go as high as 13. I mean, I really think this 49ers defense in particular would be suffocating, whether it's Jaron Hall or Joshua Dobbs or really anybody else. So I think that's a huge spread there. Seattle at the Lions. I think Seattle's kind of fake, just like I think the Jaguars are kind of fake. I think the Lions defense has shown some issues, but I still think we're looking at probably a 5.5 to 6 point favorite there. Maybe it's lower, but I think it should be 5.5 and 6. It'll probably be like 4.5. Cowboys at the Falcons. This is actually a playoff game the Cowboys can win and should win. I would expect them to be 4-point favorites.
Okay, so 10, 5.5, and 4.
13, 5.5, and 4.
13, 5.5, and the Cowboys only 4 points over the Falcons?
Yeah, because it's in Atlanta.
Wow, because it's in Atlanta. Hashtag it pays to watch live. You just see a recap screen. Say, oh, what? You got to listen to the explanations. Knowledge is power. So I've got 13, 5.5, and 4. Mikey B, let me come over to you. Where are you headed?
Yeah, I got a lot of similar numbers here. For the 49ers, I took that -11.5. It's going to definitely be double digits. They're such a better team than the Vikings, regardless of who's at quarterback for the Vikings. For the Lions and Seahawks, my guess was the Lions -4.5. Their defense can kind of make these games a little bit more interesting than they should be. Obviously, their offense has been great. But I'll take the Lions at -4.5. And then same thing with the Cowboys Falcons. Because it's in Atlanta, I would go Cowboys -4.5.
Wow. Okay. What was your first number on the Niners and Vikings?
11.5.
11.5. So you both agree it's going to be double digits.
Yeah, it has to be.
Have to be that. Okay. So Zack Attack, I've got double digits, kind of around the same for the second game and almost identical for the third game. Where are you headed?
Yeah, I think all these NFC matchups are predictable, unlike the AFC as far as the spread goes. I think San Francisco, it's got to be double digits. I'll go 12.5. I don't see another quarterback the Vikings can go to, and if it's going to be Josh Dobbs, this 49ers team already has a good beat on him from the matchups he had with the Arizona Cardinals. Seattle, Detroit, I think it'll be 3.5 on the Detroit Lions side. We already know week 2, Detroit was 4.5-point favorites, and that was off that big win against the Kansas City Chiefs. Seattle upset them, and they did last year as well. Geno Smith had 2 great games against them, at Detroit, 48 points, 37 points this year. And then the Dallas Cowboys, that strength of schedule bothers me there, but they're going to be favorites, so I'll go 3.5. Atlanta's been a good home team this year, 4-2 currently, and they keep games close.
See, this is why I have you guys, because if I just look at that matchup, I'm automatically saying 7, and that would be incorrect because you guys are the best. That would be incorrect. So, AB, throw a few up there that you see. A lot of people participating in the chat today. So we wanted to know your NFC sides as well. So we'll throw a few up there. I can't even talk today. But one more little thing that we need to do. So, Buckets, you saw all the teams on the screen, correct?
Correct.
And you heard me say the Eagles are the 1 seed in the NFC, and in the AFC, it would be the Ravens. So there are 14 teams, 7 on each side. 2 will go to the Super Bowl. Tell me who you think it's going to be.
AB, can you throw the graphic up real quick for both of those?
Yeah, throw that up there for him.
Help me out a little bit here.
God forbid he pays attention. All right.
All right, let's start with the AFC. Oh, I know one of these. For the AFC, we're going to go Kansas City Chiefs, and that's pending that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift stay together until the Super Bowl. That's an easy one for all of us, obviously. And then let's go to the NFC. There we go. I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers because it's a similar color scheme, and I think it'd be fun to see the same kind of, everyone wearing the same jersey on the pitch while they're playing in the Super Bowl, Coach. Hashtag next level.
It's not a question when you say NFC. It is the NFC. And right now, there are a bunch of executives at BetMGM going, we want that guy at the Super Bowl for us. Sitting right next to me in BetMGM in Vegas for 6 days. Can we make that happen?
It's actually a great idea, Coach.
I know it is. That's why I'm
Honestly.
so torn right now. I'm so torn right
I can do the color commentary throughout the game, yeah?
Oh, my gosh. I actually would
such a good match.
What'd you say, Mike?
It'd be such a good match, wouldn't it? With the Chiefs and the 49ers. What a match that would be.
That would be a great match.
Is that possible? That could happen?
Yes, it's possible.
Okay, just making sure.
In fact, Sia thinks it. Well, he thinks the 49ers are the best team in football.
I know they're the best team in football. They were the best team in football last year, too. And if they had a quarterback against the Eagles, like they literally didn't have a quarterback, they would have beat them, too. And the Chiefs.
That's very, very true. That's very true. I was actually, Buckets, these two teams played in a Super Bowl match 3-4 years ago. And I actually went in Miami with my son. He was 9 at the time. He's 13 now. So that was 4 years ago. And the Chiefs beat them soundly.
I mean, Niners were up with 6 minutes left. And there was a 4th down conversion by Kansas City.
Let me remember
kind
it.
of
Now I
ridiculous.
remember it. All right, so that was a lot of fun. We're going to do that every single week because the matchups are going to change every single week. Maybe later this week we'll do, futures on who could win the Super Bowl because those numbers are always changing as well, and we neglect them. We don't want to do that. So where are you going to place these wagers? Well, I can tell you one place. How about BetMGM? And new BetMGM customers can sign up today and get $200 in bonus bets. Just place your first wager of at least $10 and you will receive $200 instantly in bonus bets, regardless of your wager's outcome with bonus code EDGE200. That's bonus code EDGE200. Now, Tuesdays have become kind of a light day in the NBA. So I gave you guys some homework, except for Buckets. And we want to go to all 3 NBA games tonight, and I need a pick. And I don't care what the pick is. I need one. So here they are. The Bulls and the Celtics, the Thunder and the Timberwolves, and the Warriors and the Kings. All of those numbers, as you can see, according to BetMGM. So, Mikey B, I told you I needed your mind to go to Boston. The Celtics, who just had a great matchup commitment to excellence against the Bucks. But tonight they're playing the Bulls, a completely different team. So what would your play be?
Coach, not only did you ask my mind to go to this game, but my body's going to be there too. I will be at the game, sitting behind the Bulls bench.
Really?
Yes, trying to get them to not start so terribly. So keep an eye out for me there. I'm actually going to go with a player prop because there's a lot of guys questionable. Zach LaVine, Alex Caruso, and Drew Holiday are all questionable. So I'm going to stay away from the spread for right now. Okay. I'm going to take Jason Tatum over 28.5 points. We know Kristaps Porzingis is out. With Holiday and Porzingis out the other day, he scored 34 points. Tatum did against the Hawks. Last season, he averaged 30.5 points over 4 games against the Bulls. The Bulls have been bad, so let's take Jason Tatum over 28.5 points.
And they're saying there's got to be some live bet opportunities because your Bulls, Mikey, they're so hot and cold. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and last season they actually played really well against the Celtics. So if I had to lean one way or the other, I would probably lean to them covering the 13.5. But a lot of it's going to depend, obviously, with Levine and Caruso being questionable.
No doubt about it. All right, follow my man on social media. Nobody knows the NBA like my man Mikey B. So next up, Zach Attack, I came to you. And I said, I need your mind to go to Minnesota. They've been really good out of the blocks this year. But the Thunder, they're starting to get their rhythm. Chet is starting to feel himself in the NBA. So, according to BetMGM, it's 3.5. The total is 228.5. Where are you going?
That's what I love about the Western Conference. We're seeing these young teams just blossom overnight, and that's what we're seeing with Oklahoma City Thunder and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Minnesota 12-4 out the gate, but they did have a home loss their last time out against the Sacramento Kings, blown out from start to finish in that matchup. So I think the pressure is on them because this is the Timberwolves' second chance to clinch Group C. This is another team that's already been eliminated, and they have been great on the road this year where they are 6-1 overall. So a small spread, but I'm going to lean on the Thunder side here, Coach.
All right, Thunder plus the 3.5. Zach Attack, thank you for doing your homework. I appreciate that. Now, guess who's going to be at the game tonight in Sacktown? Big Cheesy. He says, I'll be at the game with the kids tonight. Light the beam, baby. So, Counselor, I come over to you. 1.5 is the spread, according to BetMGM. The total, 236.5. Draymond Green all over the place yesterday saying, I regret nothing. I would do the same thing over again. And then get suspended for another 4 or 5 games. Smart, Draymond. Very, very smart. But as for tonight, Counselor, where are you headed?
Well, I'm glad Draymond Green understands the consequences of his actions, like stealing a championship from the Golden State Warriors and giving it to LeBron because he couldn't resist kicking LeBron in Game 5, was it, in the championship 6-7 years ago. With all of that said, listen, this is a nice tease to my pick, which we're going to hear in a couple of minutes. I really lean towards the home team here. I mean, I think, first of all, both teams pretty healthy. Draymond Green coming back, but I really like this Sacramento Kings as they are constructed right now. And there's definitely some issues with the Golden State Warriors. We see that in their record, but with Klay Thompson and just in general, I'm not a huge fan of this team right now. Come playoff time, it'll be a little different, but Sacramento for me.
All right. Little tease ahead to his pick. Now, I can tell you this, and many of you know this already, that you can get all of these picks, or all of our official picks, at least an hour before the show starts. I'm going to do you a solid. Right here, right now. I'm going to give you 60% off the quarterly plan. That's the 3-month buckets. There are 3 different little things. The monthly plan, the quarterly plan, and the yearly plan. Use that QR code right there, or go to sportsline.com/join. Then after the 3 months, we're really going to gouge you $10. That's it. To be a part of the fastest growing sports betting community in the world. That's all it is. So come join us and do it today. Now, we got to get to our board. And when I see all the different plays that I have here, I know we're going to have a great, great day at the pay window, or we could party at the pay window. Buckets, no reaction? Are you not paying attention? I'm setting you up.
Thank you for setting me up, Coach. I have a special request, if that's okay. Could we actually have Sia go before me? I kind of got to set up the party still a little bit. Is that doable?
Okay. Yeah, that's absolutely doable.
Thank you.
Now I have no idea what's coming, which scares me even more. All right, I'll let you go second. I've literally never had somebody tell me they weren't ready to go in the history of the show. I've never had that happen. All right, Counselor, I know you're always prepared every single day, every single moment of said day. So, if you don't mind, start us off.
I wonder if that was an assist from Buckets there, knowing that I have to drop off around 10:25. I think that was you got Magic Johnson behind me. I think that was like an MJ to Worthy thing. Magic Johnson, Buckets, he played basketball for the Los Angeles Lakers. James Worthy also played with him.
Oh.
Great team. They called them Showtime. We'll talk about it another time. Listen, speaking of basketball, that's where I'm going today. We don't have, Conference USA Tuesday football. We don't have MACtion. That's kind of over. We're crawling into bowl season when it comes to college football. So I'm going to go right to the NBA. I got the Kings money line -116. You can see this. We just saw it at -130 at BetMGM. I mean, the line's really been moving. It was the Kings -2.5. And then this morning it dropped to Kings -1, then kicked back up to -1.5. So the money line's going to be in this 115 to -130 range. The long and short of it is I do think the Kings, as they are constructed right now, I think they're more motivated to win games like this. Forget about the in-season tournament thing. I think they're motivated. I mean, that might be motivation, but I think they're motivated to beat the Golden State Warriors and try to prove themselves as contenders in the West. And honestly, the last time they played the Warriors, they lost. The time before that, they lost this season. But the last time they played them, they only lost by 1, and it was at Golden State. And Sacramento didn't have De'Aaron Fox. Now they have De'Aaron Fox. They're fully healthy. Draymond Green coming back, it really doesn't factor into the assessment of this game, in my opinion. I think Golden State, come playoff time, they're likely to be the better team. But right now, early in the season, I think this is Sacramento's game. Give me Sacramento money line.
I think Golden State, I think they're frauds this year. I really do. I think the sportsbooks still think they're the Warriors of 4 years ago. Lynn Stroud says Buckets just stole Sia's closing argument. That is very true. However, he may be the genius you all say that he is, because I completely forgot that Sia, who, as you know, is my 1B and is in demand, needs to leave for another show and needs to do it right now. So clearly Buckets knew that, and I forgot.
Next level
That's
hosting,
crazy.
Coach.
Next level hosting. You're right. That one hurts. That one really hurts. All right, AB, drop my man Sia out of here. We'll see him, obviously, tomorrow. That is the Counselor of Cash. Absolutely one of the very best. Love that guy so much. So now, since we're asking when to go in the show, and we don't care about Zach and Mikey B's time, are you ready now, or would you like me to go to somebody else?
Coach, I got the venue for the party all set up. We are good to go with our Champions League picks this afternoon.
Here we go.
Let's do it. We have 2 phenomenal games this afternoon. We have a lot of good games, but we have 2 really, really good games when, in my professional opinion, as a humble bilingual man, can help us find some really, really good value. Because I found some soft lines today. In particular, I found a soft line in that matchup between Shakhtar Donetsk and Royal Antwerp. I'm taking Shakhtar over 1.5 team total at -110 because Shakhtar, if they win today, they survive. They have a chance going into the last match day to still qualify to the next round of Champions League. Royal Antwerp, they're done. They could win this game 140 goals to 0, and they still have no chance of qualifying. This is a must-win for one team against a side that has not won yet, that has been terrible, and that conceded at home 3 goals to Shakhtar in the reverse fixture. I think Shakhtar win this game easily, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, something like that, because goal differential matters here, so they have to keep scoring. Give me that team total at -110 all day, and I would have played that all the way up to -150. Wow. I love that line. Then we go to another matchup where, frankly, again, all I see is goals here. Feyenoord, the Dutch side, hosting Atletico Madrid. And when you see Feyenoord play at home, there's only one way you bet this team, and that's betting on goals. I know that they struggled against Lazio. They lost 1-0 in the last matchup, but this is a matchup against Atletico Madrid where winning matters, where scoring matters, and where goal differential matters for both sides. So neither team will be happy with a 1-0 victory here. Both teams want to ramp up their offenses. They want to score 3 or 4 goals in this matchup. And let's not forget, when they played in that reverse fixture, we got 5 goals. The over-under is currently set to over 2.5 with a little bit of juice at -130, but I have absolutely no problem squeezing that juice because it's worth it for a matchup where either team could score 3 by themselves at 3 p.m. this afternoon.
So would you say that we're at the time of the year for the Champions League where we're starting to, it all really starts to matter, or it doesn't matter at all? Correct?
Absolutely. Correct. There's only one team in the Champions League so far that has already secured their top spot, that being Bayern Munich, but every other team has either something to play for or they're already done and they've given up. So we're focusing on the teams that need to win, Coach.
Do a little of your own work. If you don't want to, you know, at SportsLine, we've got articles for a lot of these Champions League games, which are airing every single time. Where, Buckets? Paramount Plus. Synergy.
I got it that time. I usually don't.
Sort of. Sort of. All right. I'm fired up for the Champions League on Paramount Plus today, but I'm also fired up for the NBA. We already have one play. We have the Kings on the money line. So, Zach Attack, let me come over to you because I've really been entertained by Milwaukee this year, but not because they're playing great basketball every day. Seems like there's a lot of drama. We're trying to fit Damian Lillard in, trying to figure out, are we a fast team? Are we not going to play any defense? I can't figure them out, but I know this. They have stars. Do you like them tonight?
They have stars, Coach. They come back and win against Portland Trailblazers, and yes, I like them on the road today, Coach. -3 against the Miami Heat. I think they're going to be ready for the challenge. Damian Lillard, we all know the strongest rumors were him going to the Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler wanted him there. We remember every time we see his player profile picture, we remember his state of mind when that decision was made, his press conference where he was standing at the podium going, "This is how I feel. This is how I feel," with Damian Lillard going to the Milwaukee Bucks. So I think the Miami Heat may get off to a strong start, but I look at the factor of them returning from a 5-game road trip. Any road trip is tough in the NBA, but a 5-game road trip during the holiday is always tough. So coming back home, I think this Bucks team is going to be ready to go. Based on what happened last year, the addition of Damian Lillard happened for a reason. It was because of what Miami did to them last year, upsetting them as an 8th seed in the postseason and in the NBA regular season. They were lost to Miami both trips to Miami. So this is a Bucks team. I think this is a circled game. You hear that all the time, but this one for sure was a circle game by the Milwaukee Bucks. Give me the Bucks -3, Coach.
I think you found a great one right here. I love when we really hone in on one game and really dissect it just like Zach did. All right, so that game is 7:30 p.m. Eastern tonight down in South Beach. All right, Mikey B, it's just me and you, kid. There's nobody else here. There's nobody watching right now. It's just me and you because I understand, and I feel the pressure for you. So I know I've got not one, but 2 prop bets coming our way. Floor is yours.
I love the pressure, Coach. So let's do 2 player props. We're going to do Alperen Şengün over 20.5 points at -120. This is the Rockets taking on the Mavericks. Şengün is playing 4 more minutes per game this season than he did last season. His usage rate is also up 5 percentage points to 26.4%. That's helped him score at least 21 points in 6 of the last 7 games. The Mavericks have very little size up front. They have the 6th worst defensive rating in the league. So I like Şengün to score at least 21 points. Then we're going to go to the Cavaliers-Hawks game. We're going to take Max Strus over 12.5 points. That's also -120. He's averaging a career-high 35 minutes per game, shooting 38.5% from behind the arc. That's helped him score at least 13 points in 7 of his last 9 games. Great matchup against the Hawks. They've played at the 3rd fastest pace. They have the 7th worst defensive rating. They're going to be focusing on trying to slow down Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. So I think Max Strus gets enough open looks to hit the over 12.5 points.
I love this play. Man, he has been such an underrated player. I think his entire NBA career. I really think he's been an underrated player his entire career. A couple of quick ones. They're talking about the Nuggets plus 5.5. Zach, let me come back to you on that one. In Dallas tonight, any thoughts? They've been a really good against the spread team.
I would say I would go with the Dallas Mavericks side here. Anytime you have a team that had a bunch of players out like the Nuggets did yesterday and they win, was it plus 11 against the Clippers?
Yeah.
It's going to be value the next night on the opposite team. That's just my opinion, but that's what I've seen over the years. So I'd go with the Mavericks -5.5.
Yeah, the Nuggets cashed in plus 9.5 last night in LA.
Yeah.
Clippers are a mess. An absolute mess.
I got to interrupt. The Nuggets are not playing tonight. I think that's supposed to be the Rockets.
No, I said, did I say, I meant Rockets. Did I say Nuggets?
Rockets.
My apologies, Zach.
Yeah, I was going off that message. So disregard that.
I clearly meant Rockets. I said Nuggets. Rockets against Dallas. Let's try that again.
Oh, that's even tougher for me there. I probably would look at a player prop, but I still would lean Mavericks just slightly. Okay. Just the way the Rockets play, it's always sporadic, and they just let leads go quickly. They
do that. Mikey B, any thoughts on that game?
Yeah, Fred VanVleet is questionable, so you got to keep an eye out there. That's a big difference if he's out or whether or not he plays for the Rockets. One of the reasons why I really like that Şengün is Maxi Kleber is out for the Mavericks, and Derek Lively, their sensation rookie center, is questionable. So if he can't play, they really have no size. So again, that might be one you got to take a look at the injury report before you place a wager on that.
What time do the starting lineups normally come out for an NBA game?
I mean, Coach, they're scratching guys as just before the tip-off now. So Jordan Poole got scratched the other night. I think that it was like 2 minutes before tip-off for the Wizards. So I think you'll probably get some sort of I would say at least a half hour before the game, you'll probably get something about Fred VanVleet. in
Okay.
particular. The pool he got kind of hurt in warm-up things, so that was a little bit different. But
He's
yeah,
a game changer. I mean,
yeah, Fred VanVleet's very important for that young Rockets team. It's one of the big reasons why they're so much better this season.
I could not agree more. They have such a stability to them now when they're playing. When you watch them play, he got $40 million a year for a reason. I used to watch him at Wichita State. That was my first job. I'm from 30 minutes from there. Oh, well, how good he was in college. And now to see him do it in the pros, fantastic. Mikey B, Zach, thank you very much. One last question for you. Buckets are asking about Lazio taking on Celtic Glasgow. That's a 12:45 Eastern game. Any thoughts on that one?
That's a tough one. I lean Lazio to win that, but it's going to be close. Celtic are pretty much just playing for club pride at this point, but Celtic have a lot of club pride, so do not count them out. I could see that one being a 2-win Lazio kind of win, though.
Yeah, it was 2-1 on their reversal back in October. So it'll be a tight one tonight. Money line's around -155. If you want to play the draw no bet line, you got to lay a goal. So you can deserve.
What I would do for that one, if you want to find a bet there, is I would do money line parlayed with over 1.5 goals, because I don't see that being a 1-0 victory for either side when Celtic is playing.
So then if you win by 1, you would cash that way.
Correct.
Instead of push. Really smart. So take the money line and the over 1.5, put them together, and then that way 2-1 wins, 3-2 wins. The only thing that doesn't win is 1-0. That's the only thing. Next level right there. Gentlemen, well done today. Appreciate all three of you. Grab your paper. Grab your pencil. Here's the recap courtesy of our man AB on the 1s and the 2s. Buckets, Shakhtar, team total over 1.5. Then Atletico Madrid, the away team, taking on Feyenoord. Over 2.5. Last time we saw 5 goals between these two teams. Zack Attack, we'll go Bucks -3, -110. Then Sia Nejad, Kings on the money line. We don't care about the 1.5, -116. Then 2 props, for Mikey B. Singling over 20.5 points, -120. And Max Struess, who we love, over 12.5 points, -120. A gentle reminder today at 4 p.m. Eastern time. It's our Week 13 NFL Mega Preview. Me, the stoic one, RJ White, and the Zaw of the playbook, Emery Hunt today. Of course, all the odds powered by BetMGM. Have a great day. Pay it forward. Remember, Tuesdays can still be a good day, even though Friday's a long way away. We'll be with you every single step of the way. But in the meantime, remember this. There's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire crew, love them all. Zack Attack, Mikey B, my man Buckets, and the counselor always here is 1B. I am simply the coach, trying to keep this train on said track. Can't forget about AB on the 1s and the 2s. We grind for you so we can win with you. It's truly what we're all about right here at the Early Edge. Good luck.